So, did Rachel Zegler just crash out at Disney fans live on Instagram? We're not saying she absolutely did, but that's the word flying around social media this week after a fiery, unscripted moment on IG Live sent fan communities and film blogs into a full-blown frenzy. It all comes at the worst possible time. Disney's Snow White remake is struggling. And I mean struggling. And right when the studio could use a comeback moment, Rachel's livestream seemingly lit another match under the already smoldering fire. Today, we're diving into what really happened on that Instagram Live, breaking down the apparent meltdown moment, how the Snow White marketing campaign backfired hard, and why fans are pointing to a Minecraft movie, yes, Minecraft, as the unlikely model of what actually works in 2025. Grab your popcorn, this is the internet's favorite kind of story. A fairy tale gone off script. Let's start with the moment that set the internet spinning. Rachel Zegler's Instagram Live. Now, this wasn't a red carpet event. This wasn't a PR-approved sit-down interview. It was casual, off the cuff, just Rachel and her phone, talking to thousands of viewers. At first, it was all pretty normal. She chatted about skincare, filming memories, even joked about her press tour outfits. But somewhere in the middle, a comment popped up in the stream chat that clearly hit a nerve. It read something like, "Why do you always seem to mock Disney fans?" Rachel paused visibly, and then she responded. She didn't curse, she didn't scream, but her tone changed. According to those who watched live, it was sharp, defensive, and dismissive. She reportedly said, "I don't hate Disney fans. I hate being reduced to a cartoon that came out almost 100 years ago." Some viewers interpreted this as a fair critique. Others, not so much. Clips of the live were immediately screen recorded and shared with captions like, "Rachel snaps," "Zegler meltdown," and of course, "crashing out at fans." And while we can't say definitively what her intent was or whether it even qualifies as a meltdown, the perception spread like wildfire. This latest moment wouldn't be nearly as explosive if it weren't coming in the shadow of what many are now calling one of Disney's most public misfires in recent memory, the Snow White remake. Let's talk numbers. The film reportedly cost over $250 million to produce, not including marketing, which ballooned the total investment to somewhere around $400 million. Box office projections were grim from the start, but the opening weekend was even lower than expected, debuting at just over $43 million domestically. That's well below what a tentpole Disney princess film used to guarantee, even in a crowded market. By week 2, it dropped over 60%. Globally, it's been crawling toward the $150 million mark, and that's being generous.
Disney has canceled one of its upcoming live-action remakes after Snow White flopped. And I bet some fans are going to be pretty disappointed by this news. Okay, so 2 weeks ago I made a video about Snow White bombing at the box office. And in that video, I wondered if this would encourage Disney to rethink its live-action remake strategy. Is it possible that people are growing tired of seeing these Disney remakes? Perhaps Disney will get the message that consumers don't want reheated leftovers. A ton of people in the comments disagreed and said Snow White's failure was an isolated incident, mostly because of Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. They claimed audiences weren't actually tired of Disney's remakes, they just didn't want to see this one. But it seems like the studio is questioning their live-action strategy, because last week we learned that Disney has pumped the brakes on its live-action remake of Tangled. And that's a pretty big deal because Tangled was an active development. Greatest Showman filmmaker Michael Gracie was going to direct, with a script from Jennifer Caton Robinson. But now the project is on pause, and it's unclear if that pause is temporary or permanent. I don't think this means Disney is done making live-action remakes completely, but seeing one disappear from the slate should delight the people who want more originality from Hollywood. On the other hand, I know that Disney fans really love Tangled, and so I'm sure there are fans out there who are sad to learn that the remake is dead. How about you? Are you delighted or disappointed to see this news?
This isn't just underperformance, this is a full-on box office faceplant. So what happened? Why did a Disney princess movie, Snow White no less, bomb this hard? Let's break it down. First, the tone of the film. From the start, there was a clear shift in how Disney wanted to portray this remake. Snow White wasn't about love anymore. It was about power, independence, leadership. All fair ideas in theory, but when Rachel's early interviews framed the original 1937 story as weird, creepy, and not something we should be telling little girls anymore, it rubbed a lot of longtime fans the wrong way. Second, the marketing. The trailers were limited. The tone felt confused. Was this a fantasy adventure? A political statement? A parody of a classic? Viewers couldn't quite tell. Third, the casting discourse. Rachel Zegler is an incredibly talented performer, no question. But many fans didn't connect with her portrayal of the role in press tours. Her sarcasm, dry humor, and frankness came off to some as refreshing, but to others it felt condescending toward the legacy of the character. And now, with this Instagram Live moment, those impressions are seemingly being reinforced in real time. Again, this is all perception. But in Hollywood, perception is everything.
Snow White bombing at the box office is not unexpected. I just didn't think it would be that bad. Early estimates had Disney losing about $100 million on this movie. I think it's going to be worse than that, unless something turns around this weekend. We'll talk about that in a moment. So yesterday we had the estimates. Today we have the actual numbers. So the domestic opening, that's US and Canada, was 42.2 million. The international was 43.9 million, giving us a grand opening total of 86.1. I had a little more faith. I figured this movie would do better internationally, and I think Disney thought so as well, which is why they had Rachel Zegler overseas promoting the movie for 2 weeks before she came back to the States. I mean, damn near every market, this thing just did poorly. China, Japan, UK, I think either France or Spain.
While Snow White stumbles, there's another movie making waves, and surprisingly, it's a film no one expected would shine. The Minecraft movie. Yeah, you heard that right. Starring Jack Black and Jason Momoa, Minecraft was seen as a wild card when it was first announced. But its performance in recent weeks has turned heads. The film leaned into its source material with total commitment. It embraced the pixelated aesthetic, kept the tone light and self-aware, and most importantly, respected the fans of the original game. Opening weekend, $87 million domestic. Critics were mixed, but fans loved it. The key? The studio knew who the audience was and didn't try to turn the movie into something unrecognizable. And now, people online are drawing direct comparisons. They're saying Minecraft is an example of what happens when you understand your fanbase. Snow White, on the other hand, is being painted, fairly or unfairly, as a film that misunderstood its audience from day one. One of the biggest points of tension is that Rachel's take on Snow White, both in the film and in press, has felt to many like a rejection of everything the original character stood for. The 1937 classic was a romantic, idealistic fairy tale, but in interviews, Rachel framed the prince as creepy, the love story as outdated, and the moral of the original as irrelevant. Again, that's one perspective, and it's not without merit, but the tone is where a lot of fans draw the line. Add in leaked group chat messages, alleged, not confirmed, where she supposedly called Disney adults low IQ, and now this IG Live moment, it's easy to see why fans feel like they're being talked down to by the face of the movie they're supposed to support. This isn't just a Rachel Zegler issue, it's part of a much bigger Disney problem. Fans are growing tired of the live-action remakes, especially when they feel like they're being used to push agendas instead of tell stories. The Lion King remake made money but got panned for being joyless. The Little Mermaid did okay, but nowhere near Disney's expectations. And now, Snow White? Complete flop. Insiders are already saying Disney is reevaluating its live-action pipeline. Rumors suggest some projects have been quietly shelved or rewritten. Marketing departments are being told to focus less on modernization and more on heart, nostalgia, and joy. In other words, Disney is trying to remember why people loved these stories in the first place. One underreported angle in all this? The Disney influencer community and how it's turning. For years, Disney vloggers, TikTokers, and YouTubers have been loyal. They promote the parks, unbox merch, react to trailers, and generally avoid controversy. But lately, that's changed. Major fan accounts are now posting takedowns. One creator called Rachel's Live the most disrespectful thing I've seen from a lead actor in years. Another asked, how do you expect us to promote a movie when the star seems to mock the audience? This matters. Disney relies heavily on its influencer network to create buzz. When even they are turning, that's a problem. So where does Rachel go from here? She's still a rising star, she's got talent, stage presence, and undeniable charisma when the camera is rolling. But public perception? That's her mountain to climb now. If she plays it smart, owns her missteps, and reconnects with fans, she can still course correct. Hollywood loves a redemption arc, and we've seen stars come back from far worse. But if she doubles down, or lets this moment define her, that's when long-term damage starts to settle in. The ball's in her court. Whether or not Rachel Zegler truly crashed out on Instagram, the conversation around her latest moment shows us something bigger. Audiences want sincerity. They want to feel respected. And when you inherit a legacy character, especially one as beloved as Snow White, the way you talk about that legacy matters just as much as how you play it on screen. This whole story is a case study in what happens when marketing, messaging, and personality all fall out of sync. Rachel Zegler might not have meant to mock Disney fans, but the way people felt during that live stream, that's the narrative now. And in the age of social media, feeling becomes fact fast. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.